Okay, hi, my name is Emilia Brewer, and the topic of my dissertation is why do some individuals develop psychological disorders but others do not? Observing or exploring the association between adult attachment style and individual mental health symptoms. So falling in love with you is only half of what I want. Staying in love with you forever is the other. Love. What is it that allows this powerful emotion to overwhelm and defeat so many of us? That complicates our lives and is a primary source of happiness and misery for so many of us. Observing couples struggling with their romantic relationships fascinated me. I wanted to know why some couples can stay in love and others cannot. Many of us experienced negative and some of us traumatic experiences in our lives. Some of us were denied love as children. Some of us lost love. And some of us are too scared to fall in love. Our attachment style is created in our childhood and continues to function as a working model throughout our adult life. After extensive study in this area of interest, I realized that there are many factors that contribute towards creation of a loving, lasting and caring relationship. And these factors can be our attachment style, our emotional resilience, and our self-worth or self-esteem. So today I would like to examine and explain the association between adult attachment style and psychological disorders, explore how individuals with different attachment styles respond to negative interactions in romantic relationships, summarize the research findings, and answer the following question. Why do some individuals develop psychological disorders and others do not? So John Bowlby believed that we use instinctive behaviors to ensure closeness of our caregivers. Because of these behaviors, our caregivers are more likely to protect us from any physical or psychological dangers. These instinctive behaviors are structured by attachment behavioral system that developed through evolution to increase the probability of survival. And this system continues to function throughout our adult life and can be observed in adults' behavior. So according to Bartholomew and Horowitz, there are 4 attachment styles: secure, anxious preoccupied, fearful avoidant, and dismissing avoidant. Now, attachment goals are different for each individual depending on their attachment style. Anxious individuals focus on intimacy and closeness. However, because of their low self-esteem and because of their fear of abandonment, they tend to seek inappropriate levels of closeness and emotional support. On the other hand, dismissing avoidant individuals, they use emotional distance to achieve self-reliance. Fearful avoidant individuals, they use emotional distance to avoid any hurt or pain and rejection. Secure individuals, they have their need for love and support in balance with need for independence. Anxious individuals tend to feel valued only when receiving constant love and support. On the other hand, avoidant individuals, and that is both dismissing and fearful, believe that other people are here to judge them, reprimand them, and reject them. So if the main attachment figure isn't loving, caring, and supportive enough, this individual doesn't feel safe and secure in the relationship. As a result, they activate proximity-seeking behavior. However, if this is not successful, secondary strategies, attachment strategies are used. And these can be hyperactivating or deactivating. So if the main attachment figure isn't loving, caring, and supportive enough, anxious individual tends to use hyperactivating strategies, such as forceful proximity-seeking behavior. that sometimes seem to be successful. On the other hand, avoidant individuals tend to use deactivating strategies to avoid any hurt and pain. However, this tends to happen in relationship where the attachment figure isn't kind of loving and caring, or maybe punishes any expression of need and dependency. These individuals learn to suppress proximity-seeking behavior, deactivate the attachment system, and try to deal with distress alone. So, what are the potential consequences? Many studies linked relational distress to psychological disorders. Although there is lots of evidence to suggest this, it is not quite clear why do some individuals develop psychological disorders, especially looking at couples who don't have complementary attachment style, and some don't. So if the individual that is in distress doesn't have a loving, caring, and supportive partner, or maybe they have a terrifying partner, this individual is not allowed to use or given the opportunity to control the distress that activated the attachment system. It doesn't move.
Help. Computer.
Okay. Okay, so the research findings. As I was given only 11 minutes for this presentation, I cannot include all studies that I included into my dissertation. So I'm going to mention just a few. Bowlby, in his studies, confirmed there is a link between trauma of separation or bereavement in child's life and psychological distress in adult life. There is a connection between early separation and anxiety later in life. Many studies linked relational distress and anxiety to various psychological disorders such as depression, anxiety, eating disorders, substance abuse, and personality disorders. Brennan and Shaver in their study confirmed that fearful avoidant individuals are more likely to develop various personality disorders linked to their deficiency in emotion regulation. Number of studies linked avoidant attachment style to specific patterns of emotional and behavioral difficulties, such as depression, characterized by the need to be perfect, self-punishment, and self-criticism, as well as somatic systems and avoidant and schizoid personality disorders. So to conclude, when I was actually preparing my dissertation, there were many studies linking low self-worth, maladaptive cognitions, and dysfunctional behaviors to various psychological disorders. However, a study conducted by Parker, Tumbling, and Campbell helped me to answer the question, why do some individuals develop psychological disorders and others do not? And it suggests if an individual doesn't experience great closeness and unity in their relationship, accompanied with anxious attachment style, that individual is more likely to develop psychological disorders such as depression or anxiety. And basically what it means, if there is a poor cohesion in the relationship, the individual is not given the opportunity or is not allowed to use proximity-seeking behavior to reduce the distress that activated the attachment system. As a result, this individual is more likely to develop psychological disorders such as anxiety or depression. And I would like to finish this presentation with a quote from Sean Brookhouse.
Remember to swear, John.
That I found quite profound. And he said, we should all ask ourselves whether our need or drive is so strong that we are willing to damage other people. Thank you.